Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to be sharing this video with you today as we are going to be touching base on one of my very favorite spiritual practices, which is a regular yoga practice. And so yoga has become a very mainstream thing or topic in today's society. And when we think of yoga, a lot of us actually go straight into the asana movement practice, which is great, but yoga is actually much deeper and more evolved than just the movement practice. And as we discussed today, you are going to start to see how this is. But yoga is basically a tool which we can use to help merge our mind, body, and spirit into one unit. And then this will help you develop a deeper level of awareness of your energy body, and how certain spiritual topics actually become embodied in your physical body. And so I hope that you enjoy this video, and I hope that this inspires you to have a more regular yoga practice in your everyday life. So let's begin. The first benefit that I wanted to share with you guys today is the power of the yogic breath. And so each yoga sequence is designed with the breath in mind. Therefore, the teacher is going to be guiding each movement with the breath. And so you can see how this connection helps you to build certain levels of presence within your yogic practice. As you move through these asanas, you'll also notice how the breath can become a strength pillar when it comes down to moving through certain difficult postures which require a lot of mental strength, such as holding plank pose for a minute. Let's say, for example, you can actually fall on the breath in order to help you push through certain mental blocks that we may have in our yoga practice. The breath can also be a tool to help soften the body or increase our energy body as well. And so certain anapanas, which are breath-inducing exercises that we can do in a yogic practice, such as the breath of fire, which is a fast-paced breath, which actually helps to increase the energy body or increase the level of energy that we have in our body by stimulating more oxygen into the blood, by pumping our heart a little bit more, and creating heat inside the body. We can also use alternative nostril breathing as a technique to help soften the body and calm the body, and it helps to bring balance between our left and right hemispheres of the body and mind. And so with this yogic breath, we become a lot more in tune with our own personal breath as well. And so you'll start to notice how you naturally breathe. And so a lot of us actually breathe very high up in the chest, and we do not use our diaphragm to breathe. This can be, this actually doesn't help you in your everyday life, and you actually limit your oxygen intake. And so a regular yoga practice and a regular focus and awareness on your breath actually helps to entrain yourself off the mat to then breathe more correctly in your everyday life. And so you'll notice how the breath work in yoga actually helps you with other exercises as well. So I've noticed a huge difference in my ability to run longer distances by focusing on the breath, and to start using the breath as that guiding force or the guiding presence, if you will, to help move through certain exercises. And it helps you to actually also keep a steady pace. And so these are just certain techniques that the breath can help you work with your energy body, whether that be increasing your energy levels or to help soften and ground yourself a little bit more deeply inside the body. And so on to the next tip. The next benefit that I'd like to share with you, which comes from a regular yoga practice, is a deeper level of concentration. And so coming from a background with ADHD and dyslexic tendencies myself, I've noticed a huge improvement in my levels of concentration, which have come from a regular yoga practice. And so yoga, specifically certain balancing postures, require you to have a deep level of focus and awareness on what your body, breath, and mind is doing. Which is a lot of what yoga is in general, but specifically through harder positions, and even actually positions which stretch out the body a lot, require a lot more presence and focus, just because of the natural releasing of tension can sometimes invoke a lot of pain in the body, in a sense, as you release certain energies. And so yoga helps to build that level of concentration by focusing on the breath, but also on what your body is doing. And it helps to entrain you to hold a specific level of concentration and to not allow your mind to kind of jump on in and take you out of that level of concentration. And so I've noticed how yoga has benefited me in my level of concentration and ability to focus upon one thing at a time. Another really great benefit to yoga is the ability to start using visualization as a tool. And so as we're working through a certain yoga sequence, our teacher is going to be giving us specific guidelines and cues in order to position the body in our body alignment. And so a lot of the times they will focus on the spine and the hips and certain parts of the body which require to be in alignment in order to prevent certain injuries and things like that. Now, a lot of us actually have a really hard time when starting out with yoga to fully integrate this without the aid of certain mirrors in the room, which are really great because you can physically see your body alignment in a mirror. But if you don't have access to a mirror when you're doing a yoga practice, it really helps to start visualizing and feel internally. So you're basically coming internal and you are feeling and visualizing your spine, for example, in a straight line. And you can start using this visualization to help guide your alignment through a yoga practice. And so a lot of the times it's really nice to do this at home as well, and to practice certain yoga postures and alignments at home in front of a mirror, so that you can actually go into a class. And I really enjoy doing a yoga class with my eyes closed. And so when you have your basic alignment set up, you can actually start to use your visualization skills a lot more when you're being guided in a sequence of classes. But basically that's what you are doing. You're going to be using your visualization as a tool to help tune into your body and use your visualization to guide your alignment within the body. Another really great way that visualization comes in handy in yoga is in certain experiences when the teacher guides you to maybe even visualize certain breath work. So like you can visualize a balloon inflating in your stomach, or you can even use visualization as a tool to help soften particular parts of the body and melt away certain parts of the body. And so you'll notice how your visualization abilities actually improve a lot with regular yoga practice. Another really great benefit to yoga is its ability to help us deepen our spiritual practice. And so yoga is much more than just a physical movement practice, as we have discussed. And we are actually in a yoga class integrating specific teachings on the mat, which then transcend into our life off the mat. And so yoga is basically this tool that helps us to overcome certain fears or obstacles on the mat that are both mental, physical, and spiritual, which then help us transcend and overcome things in our regular life off the mat. An example of this was when I started to practice inversions, and I was terrified of doing inversions, and I had to use the wall and my best friend to help support my legs for the first little while. And so in doing this, it helped me to invoke a level of playing. So a lot of times when we invoke this level of childlike play in our yoga practice, this helps us to overcome certain fears that we may have of falling or even hurting ourselves, which are very real fears. But if you're doing things slowly and progressively, and safely, of course, you learn to overcome certain fears, which then transcends off the mat as well. Because it's kind of like you're working on certain mental, overcoming certain mental barriers that we have built up over the years. And so yoga helps us to dissolve this and integrate it in our regular life as well. So that was just one example, but there are many, many, many examples in which yoga helps us to bridge our spiritual awareness in the body by using the breath, body postures, and integrating certain concepts as we're working through a flow, which then helps to transcend our regular life off the mat. Last but not least, yoga is a great tool to start clearing and restoring our energy body or etheric body. And so oftentimes in a yoga class, you will hear reference as to how our bodies hold specific memories and energy within the body from certain traumas or difficult moments in our lives. And so oftentimes we hear how the hips of the body are like the trunk drawer when it comes to holding certain traumas. And so when you're working through the hip, you are naturally releasing tension that has built up over the years, which then is also helping you to release certain memories and traumas. And so it's not uncommon in a yoga class to be doing a posture or holding a posture for a while and experience this release of emotion. So oftentimes you might see someone crying in a class, or a memory will maybe come up to the front of your mind in order to be cleared. And so this is one aspect in which yoga is a tool to help clear certain energies out of the body. And so as we stretch and expand our body and start moving our body with the breath, we are clearing and releasing and softening our body so that we can actually hold more of the energy that we want inside our body. And doing this clearing exercise of yoga actually helps us to sit in meditation for longer periods of time. Yoga was actually designed as a tool to actually sit in meditations for longer periods of time because it prepares the body for that receptivity, if you will. As you clear and release tension from the body and you restore your energy body, you are much more receptive in your meditations. And so this is also really great if you are working on certain psychic ability work and things like this. And so that is it for this video. I hope that this has inspired you to incorporate yoga in your everyday life and as part of your regular routine as a tool to help embody and merge your mind, body, and spirit through the breath, through the movement practice, and through these spiritual concepts and energy flowing techniques. And so I'll be discussing in future videos more about how yoga and certain postures and certain breath work can help invoke certain energies in the body so that you can start utilizing these tools in your life now. And so I hope this has helped. Have a fantastic remainder of your weekend. Sending you all my love and light. Have a good one, guys.